They never told us this, not our fathers, not our coaches, not even our closest friends. We were taught how to build, how to fix, how to fight, but not how to understand the women who walked beside us through life. And now, standing in the later chapters of our story, too many of us are left with the same silent question: why didn't anyone teach me this sooner? My name is Dr. James Whitmore. I've spent over 3 decades as a men's health specialist, working closely with thousands of men over the age of 60. And what I've learned through tears, regrets, and powerful moments of truth is that aging doesn't make us immune to love or the pain that comes with misunderstanding it. In fact, it brings us closer to the heart of what truly matters. There are 7 emotional truths about women, deep, hidden truths that most men never fully realize until it's too late. These aren't about attraction or charm, they're about connection, presence, and legacy. They're the very things that decide whether a woman feels cherished or simply tolerated. And here's the hard part. Most men only understand these truths after the damage is done, after the divorce, after the silence, after she stops reaching out. But here's the good news. It's not too late. If you're listening to this, you still have time. Time to rebuild, reconnect, and restore the parts of your relationship you didn't even know were broken. Because once you hear these 7 truths, you'll finally understand what she was trying to tell you all along. And I promise when we get to the 6th truth, it's going to stop you in your tracks. It's something every man I've worked with wishes he had known 50 years ago. Before we dive in, if this message speaks to something in you, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you don't miss the kind of wisdom that could change how you live and love in your later years. And if this resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. I'm here to learn from you too. Let's begin with the first truth. And I'll be honest with you, Xiaomi. This one hits harder the older we get. It's something I've seen in the quiet looks of wives, in the tearful words of daughters, and in the regrets of men sitting across from me wishing they could go back and do it differently. 1. She wants to feel seen, not just looked at. There's a moment most men don't even realize they've missed until it's gone. It doesn't come with shouting or slamming doors. It's quieter than that. It's in the way she stops telling you how her day was, in the way she smiles politely but not fully, in the way she stops expecting you to notice. That's when it happens. The slow drift from being looked at to feeling invisible. And this is the part no one warned us about. As men, especially in our generation, we were taught to be providers, protectors, problem solvers. We were told that if we showed up, worked hard, and stayed faithful, that was enough. And in many ways, those things do matter. But they're not the full picture, not to her. What most men don't realize, until they're sitting alone in a quiet room or watching their wife of 40 years stare out a window with a far-off look, is that she wasn't asking for grand gestures. She was asking to be noticed, to be seen not just for what she does, but for who she is deep down as she evolves over time. This is a secret so many older men wish they had known decades earlier, that a woman's need to feel seen doesn't fade with age, it grows. And while we may slow down, she doesn't stop changing. She's still growing, still learning, still feeling. But if you're not looking for those changes, if you're not listening between the lines, she'll stop showing them to you. A woman doesn't want to compete with the TV, the phone, or your silence. She wants you to look at her the way you did when you were young, when every glance said, "I see you and I'm glad you're here." Not because of what she's wearing, not because you want something, but simply because her presence still matters to you. You might be thinking, "I'm not good with words," or "I don't know how to express things the way she does." And that's okay. You don't need poetic speeches. You need presence. You need curiosity. You need to ask her questions and actually care about the answers. You need to remember that she's not the same woman she was at 30, and she doesn't want to be. She wants to know that you're still paying attention to the woman she's become. It's in the little things, pausing to tell her she looked peaceful while she was reading, asking her what she's been thinking about lately, noticing when she seems a little off and gently saying, "Hey, I see something's on your mind. Want to talk about it?" These moments are small, but they are sacred, and most of us never understood their power until it was too late. You see, being seen is about feeling known, feeling valued, feeling like your inner world matters to someone else. For women, especially later in life, that kind of connection becomes more important than any gift, any compliment, or any vacation. And for many men, the regret of not offering it comes only after the opportunity is gone. So if you're listening to this now and you've still got someone beside you, or even if she's a phone call away, don't wait. See her today, notice the light in her eyes, ask her what she's dreaming about. Remind her, with your voice and your attention, that she still matters, because she does. And once you start seeing her, really seeing her, you'll begin to understand just how much she's been waiting for that all along. Now, as powerful as that truth is, the second secret is one that even fewer men dare to face. It has nothing to do with what we say, and everything to do with what we don't. Stay with me, because this next one might change how you speak forever. If you're still here and these words are resonating with you, just type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. Now, let's keep going. This next truth is one every man wishes he had learned much earlier. 2. Silence hurts her more than anger. Here's something most men never realize until the damage is already done. Silence, the kind we thought was safe or even respectful, can quietly become the sharpest weapon in a relationship. We grew up believing that when things got tense, it was better to say nothing than to say the wrong thing. We were taught that holding it in was a sign of control, of being the bigger man. But here's the truth, one that thousands of older men have admitted to me in tears. What you don't say often hurts her far more than anything you ever said out loud. When a man shuts down, when he turns inward and leaves her with a blank wall, she doesn't read that as peace. She reads it as absence. And emotional absence, especially in a long-term relationship, is one of the deepest forms of pain a woman can feel. Not because she needs constant conversation or dramatic gestures, but because silence feels like rejection. It tells her, you're not worth engaging with. Your feelings are too much. I'm not coming closer. I'm pulling away. And the heartbreaking part is that many men don't even know they're doing it. We get quiet to avoid conflict. We retreat when we're overwhelmed. We assume she'll understand that our silence means we're thinking, processing, trying to keep things calm. But to her, it means you've left her alone in the hardest parts. And over time, silence becomes louder than any argument. It becomes a message that says, you're on your own. Older men have shared this regret with me more than any other. I thought I was protecting her by staying quiet. I didn't know I was making her feel abandoned. That's the kind of truth that doesn't show up in the early years. It reveals itself in the quiet dinners, the unspoken resentments, the way she starts to keep her feelings to herself because she's tired of reaching out and hearing nothing back. And the worst part? She won't always tell you it's hurting her. Women often carry the weight in silence, hoping you'll notice, hoping you'll speak first. But if that day never comes, something in her slowly shuts down. Not out of anger, but out of exhaustion. What most of us wish we knew earlier is that she was never looking for perfect words. She didn't need solutions or speeches or eloquence. She just needed honesty. A simple, "I hear you," or "I'm not sure what to say, but I'm here," would have meant everything. She wanted connection, not correction. Presence, not performance. A voice, not a verdict. The power of showing up with your words, especially when it's hard, is one of the greatest gifts you can give her. Because when you speak, even imperfectly, she hears that she matters enough for you to try. And as we grow older, that kind of effort becomes more meaningful than anything money can buy. So if you've been quiet for too long, if there's distance that's been building, you don't need a dramatic speech to fix it. You just need to break the silence. Say something real. Say something now. Don't let pride or fear keep you from the one thing that could restore what's been slipping away. And as hard as that truth is, what comes next is even more difficult to face, because it's not about what you failed to say. It's about the words you never said at all, the ones she needed most, and the quiet places they left behind. Stay with me, because secret number 3 is the one that leaves the deepest mark. 3. She never forgot the words you didn't say. There's a certain kind of silence that doesn't feel like peace. It lingers. It echoes. It becomes a shadow that follows her through the years, showing up in quiet moments when she's alone, when she wonders if you ever truly saw what she was carrying. And it's not about the words you said in anger or the ones you fumbled in frustration. It's about the words you never said, the ones that she waited for and never heard. What most older men tell me looking back is that they wish they had known how powerful their words really were. Not the big speeches or grand declarations, but the everyday acknowledgments that said, "I see you, I value you, you matter to me." These are the words that seem small at the time but become massive in their absence. Because women don't forget silence. They remember the empty spaces where love should have been spoken out loud. You might have thought she already knew, that she could feel how much you loved her just by the way you showed up, worked hard, fixed things, paid bills, stayed loyal. And yes, those things meant something. But for her, love lives in language. It lives in the spaces where you say, "You look beautiful today," even after 30 years. Or, "I'm proud of you," when she's questioning her worth. Or simply, "Thank you," when she's gone unnoticed. The heartbreaking truth is that many women have gone through decades of partnership without ever truly hearing the words they needed most. They've raised children, supported careers, managed households, and kept families together, while quietly wondering if their effort was ever really seen. And when those words didn't come, they didn't complain. Most women don't. They just start to harden. They stop expecting, and eventually they stop asking. And here's what I need you to know. It's not too late. Even if the years have passed, even if you think she's no longer waiting, even if you're not sure she'd believe you now, there is still power in giving her the words she missed. Because those unspoken affirmations, they still live in her heart. And hearing them, especially from you, can be healing in ways you can't yet imagine. Tell her what you never said. Speak into the silence that's built up between you. Look her in the eyes and say what you've been carrying inside, that you noticed, that you appreciated, that you still feel lucky to be beside her. Not because you're supposed to, but because it's true. Because when we speak what we feel, we give her back something time tried to take away, her sense of being valued, remembered, and cherished. Words cost nothing, but their absence carries the highest price. And the older we get, the more we understand that it's not the arguments or the mistakes that haunt us, it's the love we didn't express when we had the chance. And while that secret is one that's left many men with a heavy heart, the next truth digs even deeper, because it touches the one place we often avoid the most, how we show up emotionally, and what she's really been longing for beneath the surface of every conversation, every touch, every year. What I'm about to share next might completely change how you understand closeness. Stay with me. Secret number 4. Maybe the one she's waited her whole life for you to understand. If you're still listening and these insights are speaking to you, just type the number 1 in the comments to let me know you're here with me. Now let's keep moving forward with the 4th truth, one that quietly shapes every lasting relationship. 4. Emotional intimacy is her greatest need, even more than physical. Most men grew up believing that physical intimacy was the deepest form of connection in a relationship. We were taught directly or indirectly that a good husband satisfies his wife by showing affection through touch, through presence, through loyalty in the physical sense. And while those things matter deeply, there's a kind of closeness that goes even deeper, one that many of us never knew to give, and far too many women spent decades silently craving. What older men have told me time and again is this: they wish someone had taught them that emotional intimacy, the kind where a woman feels truly safe being herself, vulnerable, messy, open, is what creates lasting love. Not the kind of love that fades when looks change or bodies slow down, but the kind that endures, strengthens, and grows even in silence and old age. Emotional intimacy isn't about fixing problems or offering advice. It's about showing up with your heart open. It's about letting her into your inner world, your fears, your hopes, your doubts, your memories. It's about letting her see the man beneath the armor. Because what many women long for most isn't to be touched, but to be let in. They want to feel emotionally held, to know that you trust them enough to share what you usually keep buried. And here's the part most men miss. Being emotionally available doesn't make you weak. It makes you trustworthy. It tells her she's not alone in the emotional work of the relationship. It tells her you're not just a partner in the physical sense, but a companion in the deepest parts of life. Many women spend years waiting for their husbands to open up, to tell them more than surface-level answers, to look them in the eye and say, "I'm scared," or "I feel lost sometimes," or even just, "I need you." And when that never comes, they start to feel like something's missing, like they're only being let into a small part of your world, when all they've ever wanted was to be welcomed fully into it. Men often assume that being strong means being silent, being unshakable. But what makes a man unforgettable to a woman isn't how much he can carry alone, it's how willing he is to share the weight with her. That's where connection lives. That's where trust is built. And that's where the real intimacy begins, not in the bedroom, but in the quiet moments where hearts are open, not bodies. If you're over 60 and still find it hard to express yourself, you're not alone. Many men your age were never given the language for emotional connection, but it's not too late to learn. Start small. Be curious about her thoughts. Tell her something real about how you feel, even if it's uncomfortable. Invite her into your world, not just the part that fixes things or provides, but the part that thinks, feels, remembers, and wonders. Because when you do that, when you start building emotional closeness, you give her the one thing she's been hoping for all along, the feeling of being truly known and loved, not just for what she does, but for who she is. Now, if this truth stirred something in you, then what comes next will hit even closer to the heart. Because in the next secret, we're not talking about what you give or what you show, we're talking about what you stop doing. And for many men, this one subtle mistake has silently pushed the woman they love further away than they ever realized. Stay with me. Secret number 5 could change the way you listen forever. 5. She doesn't want you to fix her problems. She wants you to feel them. This one is hard for a lot of men to hear because it challenges something we've been taught all our lives. As boys, we were raised to be fixers. If something's broken, we repair it. If someone's hurting, we step in with a solution. It's how we show love. It's how we try to protect the people we care about. But here's the secret many of us wish we'd learned decades earlier. When a woman shares her pain, she isn't asking you to solve it. She's asking you to feel it with her. This truth runs deeper than most of us realize. She doesn't need you to be her mechanic, her analyst, or her savior. She needs you to be her witness. When she tells you what's on her mind, what's weighing on her heart, she's not handing you a problem to fix. She's handing you a piece of herself. And how you hold it, that tells her everything. The mistake so many of us make is jumping too quickly to advice. We hear her struggle and we go into action mode. We offer suggestions, we try to cheer her up, we downplay her fears, thinking we're helping her feel better. But to her, it often feels like dismissal. It feels like we're not listening, like we're trying to move past her pain instead of sitting in it with her. And here's the hard truth. That instinct to fix can make her feel emotionally alone, because what she really needs in those moments is connection, not correction. Presence, not a plan. She wants to know that her feelings matter enough for you to stay in them with her, not step around them. I've spoken with countless older men who, looking back, realized they spent years trying to repair what didn't need fixing, when all she truly wanted was for them to care deeply, quietly, consistently. And they tell me with aching honesty that if they could go back, they would have said less and listened more. They would have learned how to just be with her in the moment without rushing to the end of the story. Feeling her pain with her doesn't mean you have to carry it all. It simply means letting her know she's not carrying it alone. And sometimes all it takes is a few words. That sounds really hard. I'm here with you. I don't know exactly what to say, but I want to understand. These are not fancy phrases, but they are powerful because they tell her, I see you, I hear you, I'm staying. It's never too late to change the way you respond. Even if you've spent a lifetime offering solutions, today can be the day you offer something even more meaningful. Empathy. Your ability to connect through emotion is far more powerful than any advice you could give. And the beauty of growing older is that you finally have the time and perspective to slow down and truly listen. Not just with your ears, but with your heart. And if you're wondering whether she still needs that from you after all these years, the answer is yes, more than ever. Because emotional companionship is not something we grow out of, it's something we grow into. Now, if that truth surprised you, what comes next might shake your understanding of love entirely. Because secret number 6 has nothing to do with what you do for her, and everything to do with who you are when she's most afraid. Stay with me. This next insight could be the turning point your relationship has been waiting for. 6. She craves safety in your energy, not just in your hands. Most men take pride in being protectors. It's how we were raised. We were taught to defend, to shield, to keep the people we love out of harm's way. And for many of us, especially in our younger years, protection meant physical strength, being able to step between her and danger, to handle the hard tasks, to make her feel safe in the world. But what most older men wish they had understood sooner is that what a woman needs even more than physical protection is emotional safety. Not just in your hands, but in your energy, your presence, your reactions, your tone. She doesn't want to feel like she has to walk on eggshells. She doesn't want to brace herself when she brings up something emotional, fearing you'll shut down, get angry, or withdraw. Emotional safety means she can be her full self, messy, vulnerable, confused, and still feel accepted. It means she knows you won't make her feel small for being sensitive, or crazy for being upset, or difficult for having needs. This is the kind of safety most men were never taught to create. We learned to solve problems, not to hold space. We learned to show toughness, not calmness. But what many women need more than anything is a steady presence. A man who doesn't flinch when emotions rise. A man who stays soft in his energy even when the conversation gets hard. A man who, without needing to fix or defend, simply says, I'm here. You're safe with me. When she feels safe in your energy, she'll give you parts of herself that no one else gets to see. She'll let down walls she spent years building. She'll stop trying to be perfect or strong all the time because she knows she doesn't have to be. And that's when the relationship deepens. Not through big gestures or fancy words, but through the quiet power of emotional stability. I've spoken with many older men who say they always thought they were doing everything right. They were loyal, hardworking, responsible. But looking back, they realized they often brought tension into the room without even knowing it. They didn't yell, but they sighed. They didn't argue, but they shut down. And what they didn't understand was that those moments, those quiet, reactive moments, made her feel like she wasn't truly safe to be herself. Emotional safety is about consistency. It's about knowing that when she opens her heart, you won't punish her for it. That when she's overwhelmed, you won't make her feel like a burden. That when she's scared or sad, she won't have to hide it or apologize for it. And here's the beautiful part. It's never too late to start offering that. You can shift your energy at any stage in life. You can learn to pause before reacting, to breathe before responding, to lead with presence instead of pressure. And when you do, she'll feel it. Maybe not with words, but with her whole being. Because safety isn't something you say, it's something you become. And if you've been wondering why certain conversations always feel heavy, why she's hesitant to open up, or why things feel disconnected even though nothing's wrong, this might be the reason. The lack of safety isn't always loud, it's subtle. But once you learn to bring peace into the room instead of tension, everything begins to shift. And now, we've come to the final secret. It's the one she may never speak aloud, but it lives just beneath her surface. It has nothing to do with romance, conversation, or even conflict. It's about time and regret, and the one thing she fears most as the years go by. Trust me, this last one might just be the most powerful of them all. 7. She's more afraid of regret than of aging. There's something most men don't realize until later in life, when the house is quiet, when the kids are grown, and the years stretch out behind you like chapters in a book already written. We often assume women fear aging itself, the wrinkles, the gray hair, the changes in their bodies, but that's not the real fear. The truth is, what she's more afraid of, what keeps her up at night, even if she never says it out loud, is regret. It's not about getting older, it's about the time that was wasted, the love that wasn't fully expressed, the adventures that were put off, the conversations that were never had. And if you're in your 60s, 70s, or beyond, you know this feeling too. Because regret doesn't come all at once. It creeps in slowly, showing up in the form of what if and why didn't I? What she fears most isn't the mirror, it's the feeling that maybe she didn't get to live her life as fully as she hoped. That maybe the love between you could have gone deeper. That maybe too many days passed by where you were both in the same room, but not really together. She's not longing for youth. She's longing for meaning, for presence, for moments that feel alive. Many older men have told me they thought their wives were simply settling down, growing quieter, more content. But what was really happening was something deeper. She was grieving the connection that could have been. She was wondering if it was too late to get it back. And here's the heartbreaking truth. Many women never say these things aloud. They carry this quiet sorrow inside because they don't want to seem ungrateful or dramatic. They don't want to hurt you. But if you look closely, you'll see it in her eyes when she watches a couple holding hands in the park. You'll hear it in the way she talks about those years when you were both too busy to slow down. You'll feel it when she asks, "Do you remember that place we always said we'd visit?" She's not asking you to turn back time. She's asking if there's still time to live without regret, if there's still space to make new memories, to dance in the kitchen, to laugh like you did when you were first falling in love, to say the things that have gone unsaid. And here's the part most men never fully understand until it's too late. You still have the power to give her those moments. You still have time, whether it's a year or 20 years, to give her the kind of presence and passion that makes the past feel whole again. It doesn't take grand gestures. It takes attention, intention. It takes looking at the woman beside you and choosing today to love her in the way she's always hoped you would. This is what she's afraid of missing. Not youth, not beauty, but connection. The kind of connection that makes life feel worth living, even in the final chapters. And if you've made it this far, if something in these words has stirred a memory, a realization, maybe even a sense of regret, then you already know this final truth isn't just about her. It's about you too. Because in the end, it's not just women who fear regret, it's all of us. Now, before we close, there's one more thing I want to leave with you. It's not another secret, it's something deeper. A simple truth about love, aging, and what really matters before the clock runs out. Stick with me, because this last thought could change how you live every day from here on out. She's more afraid of regret than of aging. The truth is, as we get older, it's not the mistakes we made that weigh the heaviest. It's the moments we missed. The things we didn't say, the chances we didn't take. And for many women, that quiet ache lives in the background for years, hidden behind responsibilities, routines, and expectations. She may never have said it outright, but she longed to be seen, not just noticed. She needed your voice, not your silence. She hoped for your emotions, not just your actions. And above all, she needed to know she was safe being exactly who she was, with no judgment, no fear, and no pressure to be anything else. Every one of these 7 truths comes from a lifetime of conversations with men who only saw these things clearly after decades had passed. They didn't mean to get it wrong. They didn't lack love. They just lacked understanding. And they all said the same thing in one way or another. I wish I had known this sooner. But here's the grace in all of it. You still have time. Whether you're 60, 70, or beyond, there's still space to love better, listen deeper, speak more honestly, and live more fully. It doesn't matter how much time has passed. What matters is what you do with the time you have left. So if someone came to mind while listening to this, your wife, your partner, your daughter, reach out. Tell her what you haven't said. Ask her what she still hopes for. Hold her hand longer than usual. Let her know that even now, even in this season of life, you are still choosing to grow in how you love her. Because in the end, the real gift isn't perfection, it's presence. And if you give her that, you may find that it's not too late after all. Sometimes the most powerful changes come when we're finally old enough to understand what really matters. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment below. Type 1 if it resonated with you, or 0 if it didn't. Your feedback helps me keep creating content that truly matters. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a message made just for you. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and leave a comment below. Type 1 if it resonated with you, or 0 if it didn't. Your feedback helps me keep creating content that truly matters. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a message made just for you.